Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. As you can see, as the norm, I have my partner in crime, Cindy, here.
Hey, everybody, I can talk today.
And we have our wonderful guest, Sarah from Sarah's Joyful Journey. We are so super excited to speak with her because she is just such a beautiful soul. And I've interacted with you a lot on a lot of the live chats and
Mhm.
within the different Facebook groups within the community. So I'm super excited to have you on. So how has your week gone so far, Sarah?
It's been pretty good. It's been a busy one. Just busy with work and training my puppy, who will be 6 months old on Saturday, and he's into everything all
Oh,
the
he's
time.
still so young
Oh,
at
he's
six
He
gorgeous
is.
months.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, because 6 months is still so young. Oh my
It
goodness.
is. It is. And he's an Australian Shepherd, so he's got a ton of energy, which is what I wanted so that it keeps me
Right.
active and keeps me going. But I have to burn that energy with him. There's no downtime.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness. Especially at 6 months. Oh my
Yep.
gosh. Just like children. They are definitely the fur
Absolutely.
babies.
They are. And it's so different because our other one is 6 and she's just like totally chill.
Oh my goodness. That's a good mix, though. It's a good
Yeah,
balance.
it is.
Here we have Hope and Andy. So, for
Yay.
anyone that is not familiar with this channel we have posted up here, you may know them as Mission Keto. Hi, Hope. Hi, Andy. And here is their other channel here, Mission Keto. So, if you do not know of them, go ahead and show them some love and support because both of those channels that they have is both very informative and they do share a lot of good stuff on that end. So thank you
Absolutely.
for coming and showing us some support. Here we have Debbie, Debbie Savings. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Debbie. Hope
Hello.
your week went well. Here we have Lynn, the one that always comes through and supports. We definitely appreciate it. Hi, Cindy, Sana, Sarah, and everyone this evening. Hope you are feeling much better today, Cindy.
I am Lynn. Thank you very much.
Yes, we're definitely grateful because Cindy, for a little bit there, she could not catch a break. So we're definitely appreciative that she's feeling well. Hello, Susie. Hi, Sana, Sarah, Debbie, Hope, and Andy. Welcome, Susie. For anyone that's unaware, Susie was actually on one of our live sharing her journey. So definitely go ahead and check that out and show that video some support. You can find that on either Cindy's and or mine. Here we have Mission Keto again. Here we have Jerry joining the chat. Hello, Jerry. Happy Friday. Hi, Cindy and everyone.
Hey, Jerry. He's been under the weather too.
Oh, sorry to hear. Prayers for speedy recovery. Like the video all. Thank you so much for that reminder for everyone to support the video. Matt
And my
Franklin.
husband.
Oh, very cool. Hi, Sarah, Son, and Cindy. Thank you so much for coming and showing some love. It's always cool when it's the immediate, like friends and family members that come to support.
Absolutely.
Susie's showing Cindy some love. So glad you're feeling better, Cindy.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Definitely great to hear her with a good voice on that end.
I
Here we have
think so
Charlie.
too. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Cindy and Sana. Welcome. We hope you've had a great week, Charlie. And here Susie's coming through with a compliment for you, Sarah. I love your channel's
Aw,
name. It's
thank you.
beautiful. Yes, I absolutely agree. Here we have Donna. Hi, Cindy and Sana and everyone. Hi, Donna. Hope you've
Hi,
had an
Donna.
amazing week. All right, so we do have already a great deal in the chat. So, Sarah, whatever you are comfortable with sharing about your journey, if you want to go ahead and it doesn't have to just be just about how you started your keto journey. You can share as comfortable as you're sharing with if you've ever attempted any other weight loss methods, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
definitely important for those to hear that
Absolutely.
we've all gone through the trial and error before we found whatever way of eating ended up working for us on the proper human diet spectrum. So we would love for you to share about your journey.
Absolutely. Well, I was never really overweight as a child. It wasn't until I got pregnant with my oldest daughter about 25 years ago, 26 years ago almost, that I put on the weight. It was the first time I had just gotten married. I just moved away from home. I was 19 years old and I had food freedom for the first time in my entire life. So I gained weight rather quickly. After baby one came baby two, not too far after that, and I put on even more weight. Found out with baby two that I had gestational diabetes. So I was like, okay, it's time to like consider some things. And I just kept on living my life and enjoying food and everything. And at about 13 years ago, I got diagnosed the first time with type 2 diabetes. So that's what began my journey of really trying to figure out what is going to be the healthiest lifestyle for me and to figure out all my issues with food. I tried Atkins, which worked really good for me. And of course, I got bored after a while and went right back to what I was doing with the standard American diet. I've done Jenny Craig, I've done Weight Watchers. I did a program called Trim Healthy Mama. I think that was my most accessible adventure before I launched into the keto proper human diet spectrum. I lost 80 pounds with that. Unfortunately, I gained all 80 pounds of that back. What I liked about Trim Healthy Mama is has the low carb aspect, but you were still
Okay.
able to eat the standard American diet. So you either ate low carb or you ate low fat, high carb, and you were supposed to alternate. Well, I didn't really alternate. I stuck with the low carb. And then every time that I started adding the carbs back in,
Mm.
blood sugar went wonky, started gaining weight. Life got hectic and crazy, as it does when you have children. And I just went back to my old ways. Then in 2022, I believe it was, I started on the keto lifestyle because I found out I had type 2 diabetes again for the second time because I was successful in reversing it once.
Okay.
It's a lot harder to do the second time around.
Mm.
So I launched into that with the guidance of my doctor. He said, okay, eat lower carb. I didn't tell him I was doing keto because the one time I mentioned the word keto, he was just like, you can't do that. You're going to kill your kidneys. And I went, but keto and low carb are like two sides of the same coin. It's just a matter of how many carbs you're restricting. And well, with his guidance, he did suggest that I start on Ozempic and Mounjaro, which is a huge part of my story because I'm no
Okay.
longer on this medication. And I want to talk a little bit
Awesome.
about that just because, I think it can be a great drug for controlling type 2 diabetes if that's what you have. And
Mhm.
that's the space that I took the medication in. My doctor also prescribed it to help me with weight loss. I was already starting to lose weight before that. And I noticed I did lose a little bit
Mhm.
extra weight that I probably wouldn't have lost if I just stuck with just keto. But the thing that was really bad about it is I would go to the doctor and he'd be like, okay, well, let's up it so you can lose a little bit more. Let's up it so you can lose a little bit more. So before I even know it, at his guidance, I'm on
Right.
a larger dose. I
Okay.
got to the point where I was having stomach issues and gastric distress. And I got to the point where I could eat only 2 eggs a day
Oh, goodness.
because my appetite was gone.
Right.
And so I went to him and I said, okay, look, this is not okay. I'm not okay with this.
Mhm.
What can we do? He goes, well, you can't stop that medication. You have to be on that medication for life. And I'm like, so I'm just supposed to sign up for pancreatitis and all these other side effects and just not eat normal for the rest of my life. And he was like, yeah, basically. And I said, yeah,
Wow.
not doing that. Have not gone
Whew.
back to see him. And I quit the medication, which I do not advise for people.
Right, right, right.
But I had to make that decision for myself. So I
Mhm.
quit that. I was on the medication for about 9 months and I quit taking it in July of 2023. So I'm coming up on almost a year now. It was tough coming off of it.
Mhm.
Appetite came back, which was fantastic. but I went from eating so few calories to eating my
Right.
normal amount of calories that I gained 20
Mm.
pounds back, which I was expecting to have some
Yes.
weight rebound. So
The
I
adjustment,
I
right?
accepted that to a degree. I'm just now starting to like level back out and lose weight again, which is wonderful. But it's so
Amazing.
nice to not have to be on that medication and have the side effects and be
Mhm.
able to eat that normal lifestyle. Currently, I'm doing carnivore-ish, just because I need there's so much stress in my life right now that I need some extra restriction
Right.
just to make my choices simple. And if my choices are simple, I just stick with it and I just move on and it helps me deal with the stress. So
So my first question, so I know you had discovered keto. How did you discover it initially before you spoke to your doctor about it? How did you find out about keto?
I was watching Dr. Berry videos and that led me to find the Two Crazy Ketos and lots of other
Uh-huh.
amazing keto people. And I was just like, look, I can do this. I know this. I mean,
Mhm.
this is low carb. This is something that I was familiar with. I did try carnivore for a stint. I did 8 months of that. Cannot sustain carnivore. I do
Uh-huh.
like some of my other veggies occasionally, but I can eat. I'm definitely a meat-based diet right now.
That was actually going to be my next question. So I know we Cindy and we definitely make sure not to make everything about the labels because it's all
Mhm,
proper
mhm.
human diet. But I'm
Absolutely.
still interested to know part of your carnivore-ish, what do you incorporate with that? Because I know for everyone it's different. Some, they stick to the meat, but then again, they'll incorporate seasonings, they'll incorporate keto chow. Everyone's ketovore-ish varies. I was just interested to know what specifically is your.
Right now, I'm sticking to the meat. I'm trying to keep my seasonings down. I do have a little bit of sweetener because I like my Celsius and I do like to have tea. Tea is kind
Right.
of my thing. So I have sweetener in that. I am limiting my dairy just because it causes
Mhm,
extra inflammation. And with the
mhm.
stress, I didn't want to add that in. The only dairy I'm doing currently is butter because it doesn't affect me, but like heavy cream and cheese and all that kind of stuff, it gives me extra inflammation. So I'm trying to stay away from that,
Mhm.
but I am incorporating stuff like keto chow core, just so that I have some variety, so that I can make egg pudding, which I love, so that I can still have my creamies, especially since we're getting towards summer here in Florida and I work
Yes.
outside. So I need to have that come home sometimes and just have that cold meal.
Mhm.
So I am allowing some of that things, but it's pretty much I'm sticking to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and there's very little variety right now.
Oh, that's
Good,
amazing. Yeah,
good.
because I had spoke to Cindy about the core, and I actually have mine on order as well, only because we do have summer around the corner, and it'll be nice to still have something and still
Hmm.
kind of not feel like I'm going completely out of the way of kind of trying to be more so like ketovore at this point in my pregnancy.
I gotta
As
tell
far
you, Sana,
yes.
this is the first time we've been live that I'm not the first one that mentioned keto chow. I'm so proud of myself because that's my
Oh,
thing.
Cindy.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just for those because, when you started, your Ozempic was back in 2022. So that was very much so before all the craze has happened with it recently. I would be interested to know, like when you started having the side effects, I know you were on it for 9 months, but how soon did you start to notice like the awful side effects you went through? Was it fairly
It
quick?
It honestly, some of them started with even the lowest doses, like that introductory
Uh-huh.
dose. I had a lot of gastric distress and I was in the bathroom frequently. Um,
Wow.
I got adjusted to that. And then each time he upped my dose, I went through
Mhm.
that again. And then finally, when he got me to the last dose level that
Right.
I was on, which was, I want to say like 7.5. So it wasn't the highest dose, but I was
Right.
really close. And I just I had stomach pains. I ended up in the
Mhm.
ER because it's just like, I just don't
Oh my
feel good. I'm
goodness.
in pain.
Wow.
I'm hurting. And they're like, oh, we don't see any signs of pancreatitis. But I went to the ER 3 times where they did ultrasounds, and my doctor was just like, oh, she's fine. Send her home.
Oh
And so that
wow.
was when the trigger was happening. And then when I finally tracked my food to see how
Right.
little I was eating, I was like, nah, I can't do this. This is not
Oh my
happening.
gosh. I'm so sorry that you went through that, but
Yes.
you sharing that testimony though, it just shows how strong you are because even though you did go through side effects, you still tried to trust the process and try to see if anything possibly would change through the course of that. So I definitely commend you because, when we start feeling awful like that, especially a hospital visit, you want to give up.
Yes,
It gets to the point where you're like, yeah, no, like now I'm at the hospital because of this. Oh my goodness, but wow. And it's amazing also too because you are sharing as a type 2 diabetic, you still got side effects and then it's kind of scary because you hear, I'm not trying to judge anybody, but
hmm
you hear those that they don't have diabetes, but still then again, they're going to use it for the weight loss route of it. And it just makes you wonder, it just makes you think and
absolutely.
wonder. But thank you so much because to be so transparent to share that is just absolutely amazing. Especially like I said, with the whole Ozempic craze going on right now, I think it's important for those to know, choose whatever path you feel is best for you. We're not going to be judgy of anyone, but then
Absolutely.
again, to hear someone's testimony of that is huge because then it
Absolutely.
gets people to want to not just to jump and feel like it's a quick fix, but to really educate themselves, to kind of pump the
Absolutely.
brakes a little bit, especially on what their doctor is encouraging them, to take it. And then, like you're saying, your doctor said we'll start the low dosage. Because I actually have a coworker. She actually went through the same discussion just recently with her doctor because she wants a quick fix, and here, I try to tread lightly because it is my coworker.
hmm
So you want to kind of have those boundaries at work when it comes to certain discussions because, some can feel offended. But it's very much that because her doctor was trying to tell her, well, I'm on it too. I
Yeah,
started off at low dosages too. I've lost 25 pounds since December. And I'm like, huh, if she only knew of the victories people were having with this way of eating, but then it's kind of, when somebody already has their mind made up, it's
true.
hard to kind of tell them otherwise, especially when they have someone that they're trying to confide in as their doctor.
Absolutely.
So it's like how
Absolutely.
non-health professional me is going to try to sway anybody. So it gets to be difficult. So that's why you having that personal experience is so huge to share that. That is just absolutely amazing.
I am
Um,
so glad you got away from that doctor
He's
because
still technically my doctor. I just haven't had the energy to switch doctors, but
yes.
I have not been back to see him. So,
good, good,
Mm,
because that for a doctor to tell you you're going to be on that for life,
right,
yeah.
right, right,
and
right.
that's like what? That's crazy. That's like my a cardiologist that I will not go back to, trying to get me to take a statin that they marked my chart that I was allergic to.
Wow.
That's
Oh my
craziness.
gosh.
It's
I
just crazy.
remember. I remember when you shared about that and it was crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy,
and
crazy.
I won't go back, and
Mm.
I don't care.
No, overlooking something like that, that is yeah, that is beyond scary.
That
Absolutely.
could have been a lawsuit in the making.
Yeah.
It's
But
like any doctor
aside from
trying to
getting
get you
to
to
a
do something that you're
lawsuit,
allergic to.
but that's the thing. What is going to happen to you prior to possibility of even
Mhm.
having a lawsuit? Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
Here we have Sabrina that entered the chat. So definitely want to give a warm welcome to Sabrina. Welcome, welcome. And then Donna was laughing because Cindy's comment about the keto chow.
Yep.
And here we have Hope and Andy sharing as well. Cindy loves her keto chow and chalk zero. I watch your hauls, girl.
And I haven't even done many of them, and I still get the stuff.
I used to tease her about her stash, so that's why I pushed her to do a video because when she just showed me her stash, I was like, "You need to share this. Like, you need to record this because it's so impressive."
Yeah.
Well,
And
I got to try the new stuff.
Hmm.
of
I don't care.
course,
I got to try it.
yeah,
And now
before it's sold
butterscotch is
out.
so good, and orange cream is so good. I ordered a big bag of
You don't
both
want to
once
run
they went
out.
on to
Yeah,
bulk bags.
yeah.
Just
It's
saying,
tricky because I
I haven't
think
gotten them yet.
some they don't really get it. Some kind of see it as like hoarding. But the thing is, it's one of those things that it's hard to find something that is healthy, that is not processed, but is shelf stable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like to have all of those terms be in the same for a specific product, it's not common at all. So when you find something that is, you want to make sure like your favorites, you're able to take advantage to get them before they sell out
Yep.
and make sure
Absolutely.
you always have that stock. I mean, it's one of the things of being prepared. It's very much like people meal prep to make sure they can keep this way of eating sustainable. Same way, like you got to make sure what's in your pantry is good temptations, not bad temptations.
Absolutely.
Susie
Yep.
sharing here, we got our keto chow core this week. Chocolate favorites, awesome. I wonder, Susie, how is it doing for you? Is the
And
core?
Susie, how are you mixing it? Because there's
Yes,
a
I'm
secret to
curious
that.
because we spoke about keto chow when she was on her live with us, and um, Cindy did suggest to try the core. So I'm wondering, how is it working for you? Oh, I hope and Annie love you all so much. Aren't they amazing? I truly feel so blessed that I was able to meet them in person,
Oh,
and
I'm
I
so
can.
sad about that. They just left Tennessee, and I didn't get to meet them. And I'm
Oh
like,
no, you didn't catch them.
I
Yeah, because
think
they've
they were
definitely they
busy.
definitely been on. Yup, they definitely been on the move.
I
But
was
yes,
so bummed.
they are as genuine and sweet as they are on their channel, as they are
Absolutely.
in person. And I know Sarah can speak on this as well because you've also met them in person as well. So
Absolutely.
you can vouch definitely. Oh, so
They are
Sherry
amazing.
sharing. They are such beautiful people. So Sherry sharing that yes, my diet is very similar to Sarah right now. Yep. And that's what I love to hear because, there's so many similarities that nobody really kind of has to feel like they're alone. Even though we don't want to necessarily compare ourselves to others, it's nice to have the company of seeing that somebody's doing this exactly like I am,
Yep.
and you have that commonality. So it's nice to hear exactly, even when someone says carnivore-ish, what does that incorporate? Oh, and here
Absolutely.
hubby sharing, Sarah is my keto hero, all the stuff she's gone through and still is a lighthouse for this way of eating. That is absolutely beautiful. And
That's so sweet.
that's it right there. I mean, just like I said, it could have been so easy for you to give up for what you had gone through, but you
Absolutely.
didn't. You still persevered throughout it all. And I think that is what's so important because, you know, there could be obstacles. Even someone starting keto, carnivore, ketovore, whichever they decide to choose part of the proper human diet, they could end up having a lot of obstacles in their way, such as the scale is not moving as quick as they're hoping for it to move because they're allowing that diet mentality where we allow the
Mhm.
scale to be the tell all be all. And then they figure, this is not for me. Let me give up. But it's to be able to push through that. And it's hard. It's very
It
hard because
is.
we're so mentally trained for so long that it's really, really difficult at times.
Absolutely.
Sarah, that's so scary. I wondered about Ozempic and the side effects it can have on people. Yeah.
Yeah. I
because
am
you're
definitely
definitely
glad
here.
to be off of it.
Yeah, we're so happy for you because that definitely that was very scary, especially going to the hospital and then, for your body to only be able to accept like such a small portion of even something as light as eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs could be very filling, especially boiled eggs, but still for that to be the only thing, wow. Susie sharing, it's truly scary. I'm so thankful that Sarah got off of that medication. Yes, no, absolutely. Here, Donna sharing as well. Thankfully, you stopped it, even if it was on your own. Yeah. And that's the thing to have the courage to go against your doctor
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
sometimes not always easy to do as
It's
well.
it's not. I did lots of research for hours trying to find any information on people
Mm,
coming off of it, and all the information said you have to
right.
stay on it for life, and I said,
Yep.
"Okay, well, I'm going in blind because 'cause I'm not staying on it,"
Hmm.
and I was going to accept whatever came my way at that point.
And that's very much because unfortunately it was something that was for diabetics, right?
Mhm.
But then now because of this trend and, companies like Weight Watchers picking it up to be able to sell it part of a weight loss program, even if
Yep.
you're not a diabetic, it makes it difficult because it is a lucrative business to them.
Mhm.
So it's definitely in their benefit to tell the person a lot of times that this is going to be a commitment for life.
Absolutely.
And it's sad because they don't initially tell them that. That chat comes later on. Once you're feeling all kind of, wonkiness, that's when they want to put it in your head. Well, you know what? Can't really come off of this. We could change your dosages,
Yes.
but you can't really come off of this. And it's
No, and
unfortunate.
it's crazy expensive. Luckily, I was able to take advantage of a diabetes program where I didn't have to pay for it because
Oh, wow.
like 1 month is
Yeah.
$1,500.
Yeah.
So it's not cheap, and
No.
my concern is mostly for people who take it for the weight loss and they don't change their mindset. They don't change their eating habits. They're
Mhm.
just eating less, and then if they do decide to come off of it later,
Right.
what they're just gonna be right back where they started, and that's the saddest thing to me.
Yeah, because I've seen, just because of like all like the craze going on, I see just scrolling through my Facebook, like I'll see post about it and
Mhm.
you'll see some posting, like these very like very carb heavy. I'm not
Yeah.
just talking about, oh, they're having like a baked potato or like a sweet potato. No, they are having like full on like fast food binge
Mhm.
and having a very carby, like sweetsy dessert on top of that. And it's kind of like you just kind of like just wonder yourself, like, what kind of mentality is that?
That
Exactly.
was like my oldest son. His doctor a while back put him on phentermine for weight loss.
Oh yeah.
And he was still
Fen.
eating all the garbage. And I'm like,
Right.
it defeats the whole purpose of this.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't need that drug.
Hmm.
Secondly, you just need to eat meat.
Mhm.
He's the one
Right.
that has Crohn's and he's
Oh
really bad.
gosh.
Meat would just do it for him.
Right, 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 right,
It's not
Absolutely.
going
right.
to cure it, but it can put
Yeah,
it in remission. And
right.
it's like, oh, frustrating. But yeah,
Yep.
he was
Yeah.
doing the same thing you were just talking about with somebody
Hmm.
taking Ozempic and eating all the garbage food.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello, you're
Hmm.
not helping your diabetes and you're not helping your weight loss just
Yeah.
because you have a pill to take. It
Right.
doesn't work. It's like,
No,
oh, I don't know.
it's unfortunate because, just like you had used the term before, Sarah, food freedom, um, that's their basically clutch is they're
Mhm.
excusing it as food freedom. And it's
Exactly.
like, well, you may need to reevaluate what having that food freedom really means because that's not it. Like you are still
No.
a prisoner to those foods. Like
Absolutely.
nothing's really being changed. So it's a sad situation and all because like, like we mentioned, it's such a lucrative business. And we all know, being in this community, the way it is with pharmaceutical, they don't want those big bucks
Yeah,
being diminished. So it's hard.
exactly.
Yeah, Debbie's mentioning, Cindy, I can't believe what some of the doctors tell us. We have to be
Yeah.
our own advocates for sure. Yeah, that's the thing, to be able to change our mentality that really truly that doctor's working for us,
Well, I told
Absolutely.
that I told that cardiologist, because years ago I took statins
right?
and they gave me such arm muscle aches. I
Mm,
couldn't raise my arms without pain.
mm-mm. Wow.
And he looked at me the last time I saw him. He said, "What? You can't deal with the pain?"
Oh,
I felt like
Mm.
punching him right in the face and
my
say, "Can you deal
goodness.
with that?" Because
Wow.
no, it was awful. So yeah,
Oh my
he
goodness.
was horrible,
Mm.
absolutely horrible.
Oh, wow. So Sherry's sharing here, I worry about a coworker that takes it. She is nauseous all the time.
Yep,
That's the
I got to
thing.
that point too.
Oh my gosh, that's the thing, like Sarah mentioned, the side effects. Um, and it's difficult too because specifically my coworker, she's done a lot of like really dangerous, scary things. Like a lot of like the detox type of products out there,
Mm.
which definitely messes up your gut big time because you're like constantly forcing, these cleanses and clean out with your body. And it's like, what is your body actually keeping? If you're going to
Yeah,
constantly force it because, a lot of, yeah, she's gonna flush out a lot of the bad, but at a certain point in time, if she's constantly taking, which she is, a lot of the good is going out with her body as well. So yeah, it's definitely it's scary, and I think that's the most trickiest thing. And I'm gonna have you speak on behalf of this as well, Sarah. But it's difficult because, like Cindy mentioned, with her family members, knowing how well we're doing on this way of eating to have gone ourselves dealing with ailments, dealing with like obstacles, it becomes so difficult because it's almost like you want to really preach to that person that, like, what are you doing? Like, do you realize like you could be eating this real food, but
hmm,
sticking to these particular foods and eventually feel so healed and feel like you literally have like a renewed body again.
absolutely.
Have you had any instances like that, like what we're mentioning, like between family members as well as coworkers? Anyone that is like still standard American diet and you feeling like you're just like burning inside to like shake
And
them and
you
be like,
just
what are you
want to
doing?
strangle him.
That
I
too.
am I'm going through that now with my mom and my sister. My sister recently got diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic melanoma, and
Oh my
she
goodness, I'm
also
so
has
sorry to
out of
hear.
control type 2 diabetes. My mom has done low carb on and off, but she goes low
Mm,
carb for a little bit, goes back to standard American diet, and I thankfully they're starting to listen now that I'm talking. I don't think it's so much that my talking that's doing all the work. It's just my attitude, how I'm looking, how much
mhm,
I've changed, and they're starting to recognize it. So
mhm.
I was able to send them a bunch of keto chow from my stash, and my mom called me up the other day when she got them. She goes, "These are so good." So we're able to use that for her because
Right.
she and my sister are doing a lot of traveling to go to
Mhm.
doctor's appointments. My sister can eat very little now just because of the cancer. So it's nice to know that she's adding the keto chow to her yogurt and she's making some of these healthy choices. And I'm like, yes, yes, they're on board. But it is hard. It's very hard to get those to that you love, especially to
Mhm.
listen and to want to do it. And I get all kinds of comments at work in the break room because I work, of course, at Disney World. So we have very large areas that we work in, very large break rooms, and my food stands out. And people are always making comments when you show up. If you show up with Pop Tarts, chips, nuts,
Right.
sodas, nobody says anything. But show up with a
Mhm.
bag of bacon,
Yeah.
and everybody will say something. And I think that's why I started bringing more keto chow shakes to work. And I make egg pudding, and I'll make Indigo Neely's
Mhm.
butter next level butter bread because it starts just eliminating that conversation. Because there's times where I just I just want to go enjoy my break too. And I don't want
Yeah.
to receive all these comments about my
Hmm.
food that I'm eating, but
Right.
I still bring it. And I think it was the other day I had just a jar of ground beef and I heated it up
Yeah.
and somebody said, "You're eating just ground beef? Why would you do that?" And I'm like, it's delicious. So, I mean, you kind of get a lot of comments with it, but hopefully, my biggest hope is that people who I work with, especially because I work with foreign people, hopefully they'll start seeing the changes. And
Yeah.
some of them are starting to ask questions, which is good. And hopefully that my actions will speak volumes and lead others to this lifestyle.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think that's so beautifully put because a lot of times that's really kind of really the only option we have sometimes is just to kind of do what we're doing,
Hmm.
try to have that lead by example because, we have to look at it from the perspective that we were very much in an addiction.
Hmm.
And with any addiction, you, the addict, has to be the one that's going to want to change in order to truly make it something that's sustainable.
Exactly.
Because if you feel like somebody else pushed you or you felt like it was like a forced experience, yeah, we might start it, but like, are we really going to keep like a good commitment to it? Like, are we going to be as consistent? Probably not.
Nope.
Because we're probably going to feel like, oh, as long as that person is not around, they don't see what I'm doing, they don't see what I'm eating. It could very much be like that, just like any other addiction, where you're sneaking around trying to secretly still get like your fix. Um,
Absolutely.
so yeah,
That's
I
why it
think
took
that's
me three
truly,
months. That's why it
yeah.
took me 3 months to start keto after my sister was like in our chat, like put quips about it and constant. I'm like,
It's
all right,
difficult. It's
all right.
difficult because when you do feel so amazing, you do want to be able to kind of like, tell the person like, come on, just start it,
Yep.
do it for 30 days. So it's difficult to kind of mute that kind of like that just that energy because you're just feeling so great. And when you see a family member, especially like, because, your family members, that they're your everything in life.
Absolutely.
So it's difficult. It's difficult to like tone that down. So I could definitely understand Sneezes or Deb for nagging at her about it because you feel amazing
I didn't
and you
call her a
want to
nag.
pass it on.
I didn't call her a nag. You better watch it.
But for me, it it could for a lot of people that's how they feel though. If it's like a
Mm.
constant, that's very much how they feel, and it's like nobody wants to, feel like they're coming across that way.
No,
But
my
like
Exactly.
my
just
thing
because
is
we're just
she
so excited for ourselves, we want everyone to share in that as well.
by her being so persistent, she saved my life because
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
was headed down a really rough spot.
Mm, yeah.
And after finding out everything I have since then, I
Mhm.
probably wouldn't still be here.
You see?
You know, huh, there's very little doubt in my mind that I would still be here if I hadn't done this.
Mhm. And what better
So,
testimony can you have than
mhm.
something saving your life?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But this right here, Sabrina's mentioning, so this definitely is influence, but influence in not the very best way. So in regards to the Ozempic and Oprah isn't much in helping with this either. Yeah, it's a lot of celebrities, it's a lot of influencers that, they have a very large platform. And unfortunately, some that have very large platforms, they don't always use them in the most positive way. Donna Sherry, Dr. Barry also mentioned, what about the long-term effects on those meds? They don't even know yet. Yeah,
No, they don't. We're the guinea pigs.
that's the thing. And also like the long-term effects on those taking it, specifically for weight loss and not even being diabetics, that all is very, very new. Especially with a lot of these doctors, and now you see a lot of nurse practitioners because nurse practitioners can write scripts. So you
Hmm.
see a lot of them taking advantage, having these little shops because they're not even like doctor type of style offices. They're like shops that this is all they're doing for their business because it's only that much lucrative that they're
Yep.
leaving the practices they were working for to kind of go out on their own and ride the Ozempic money train, so to speak. So yeah, Donna, it's definitely really scary. Sherry, I had stomach issues for a year and didn't know why. I can't imagine using Ozempic and being nauseous like that. Is your coworker concerned? Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like you shared, Sarah, it was scary for
Yeah, very
you, like you're
scary.
sharing to go through like those side effects because even with the dosage changes, nothing changed.
No, they just got worse.
Yep.
Yeah. And that could be very scary to have your body working so against you for something that you were kind of promised in a way that it was going to help everything.
Yep.
So Sherry sharing, I had chicken wings and half caramel creamy for dinner tonight. Very good
Yum.
combination right there. Cindy, what are you about to say?
Nothing. I've got a steak
Yes,
in
you
there
got
waiting for me
something.
tonight, but
I knew
I have no ice cream in the freezer right now.
it. So this is like bringing on all kind of, oh, I should have had one ready. Yes.
It's okay. I had one the other day and it was really good.
What flavor was it, Cindy?
I'm banking on it. Hope I should have just barged right into Pigeon Forge. I swear, I thought about it. I would have gone right into the store where she was working at the place.
Oh my goodness.
Anyhow,
You were like just
Dustin
there.
has a question on down. We're like way behind.
Oh no, we're doing good still. We're doing good. I want to make sure to like highlight everybody. But here Sherry responded to Debbie that unfortunately the coworker is not worried about it.
Mhm.
Breaks
So
my heart.
hopefully, yeah, it breaks my heart too because hopefully her symptoms don't have her end up in the hospital as well.
Sherry, feel free to share this video with her if you think she would watch it and hear Sarah's story about the
Hmm.
Ozempic. That might help.
Yeah, because to have someone's personal experience is huge.
Here she is.
Absolutely.
So here Lynn is rubbing it into you as well, Cindy. She's finishing up a
That was
keto
any that
creamy.
was before it was even talked about. This is like oh darn.
Yeah, absolutely. Very impressed with Sarah's
Yes.
determination. Yeah, to go through all that and to still keep pushing on is just absolutely amazing. Here we have Keto Simple Dustin, Sarah. Oh yeah, hey Hannah and Cindy.
We're
Welcome,
the
welcome.
aftermath. We're the afterthoughts, Anna.
Dustin, thank you so much for being here. We hope you have had a great week. So Sabrina's sharing she had a special a few weeks back, and I'm pretty sure she is on one of those shots, but not sure which one.
Mm.
There's so many formulations out there is the thing.
There is.
And
Yeah,
I'm
Oprah had a
sure,
special on a while back. That's what she was
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. But even with the different type of shots and stuff like that, there's so many out there, and sadly, they're coming out with so many other formulations only because it's so lucrative already.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Got to keep
Here,
big pharma in business, you know.
right? As if they don't have enough trillions. Here, Matt sharing, me too. Very impressed with her. I think I'll keep her around.
The question is, Sarah, are you going to keep him around? Just kidding.
The flip
I
side of that.
might.
Depends on the day.
I've
Ah,
had
we
him
got a
almost
might.
26 years now, so
What,
Sounds
Sarah?
promising. She's kept him around for 26 years now.
There you go. Brian's been around
Sounds
for
promising, Matt.
20.
Sounds promising. Susie sharing. Okay, so here the Keto Chow core seems to be a lot better for my gut. No bloating with it. We blend it with water for post-workout recovery. Husband accidentally made pudding with it. He doubled the scoop. So tasty. Very, very good. Very, very good. So
Fruit
I'm
scoops
happy the
and
core.
water. Interesting.
I'm happy that the core is working for her gut though.
Yes.
Because I know that was huge. That was definitely huge. And that's why Cindy had suggested the core to her. Because just with some of the regular keto chow, it was causing a little bit of gut issues. So that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome that you were able to find something that works for you.
I do something very similar to Susie. What I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing is I've been using the Keto Chow core, and
Uh-huh.
then I use the Prime Equip protein, and I put a scoop of that in, so I can make
Okay.
like chocolate coffee. I can make chocolate peanut
Yeah.
butter or chocolate strawberry.
Uh-huh.
That gives me the extra protein, and it does. It
Right.
makes it super thick and pudding-like. It's absolutely delicious.
Oh, very cool. Is it just like the plain equip or is it like one of the
My
flavors?
I use the flavors. I have peanut
Uh-huh.
butter, I have
Oh,
the
okay.
strawberry, I have the iced coffee, and the salted caramel are my favorites. So I use those a
Very
lot and in with
nice.
the chocolate. So
That's nice
delicious.
though, because it gives you the nice variety.
Hmm.
That's really nice. Here Dustin's adding those meds are terrifying. Yeah, it truly is. And how like trendy it's getting is even more terrifying.
Absolutely.
Oh, so here regarding for Sherry, I've had to live with nausea more than once in my life for a while, and I can't stand that feeling. Yeah, to feel like that. I mean, even like pregnancy wise, like I was so happy. Like this is my first proper human diet pregnancy, and I was so fortunate to not have nausea, to not go through morning sickness, because to even go through that, even for something like you consider it becomes worth it because you're carrying a child. Still, yet nobody wants to have to go through that because
Not at all.
we all very much have life to live. We have things to do, places we want to go out and enjoy, and nobody has time for feeling nauseous and feeling like their body is just not letting them live their very best. So yeah, that can definitely put a damper on enjoying your day. Donna sharing, yeah, that's absolutely horrible that they don't tell you in advance that you have to be on it for the rest of your life. Yeah, it's definitely part of that like hook, line, and sink when it comes to that. It's really unfortunate.
Absolutely.
Dustin sharing what food freedom means to me is my freedom from food addictions. Absolutely. That's the mentality to have. Whatever was that addiction that was the foods that were causing us all the problems. That truly is, the freedom of breaking free of that. Here, Sherry sharing for Cindy. You're a great example for your son, Cindy. I pray one day our kids will join us in eating healthy. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, like,
He's supposed to be, but
mm-hmm.
he's in New Hampshire, so I have no idea. My other
Yeah,
son has lost 23 pounds now,
you see, that's
and his
huge.
girlfriend's lost 12 and a half. Yeah,
Wow, that's awesome.
that's my
That's
younger
huge
son.
right there. But like just like Sarah said, she's been leading by example, and that's the thing. Uh, continue to not even like mention it in a way like you're trying to get them to do it, but I would just speak on behalf of like how amazing you're doing
Hmm.
and kind of just keep talking about just that. And
Absolutely.
then one day, everyone's going to get to that point where they're tired of being sick and tired, that they might just have that epiphany moment that they're like, huh, you know what? Let me ask mom, like, what exactly is she eating? Like, what is she doing? And you never know, like, it might be like a doctor's appointment where they're being told they got to lose
Exactly.
weight, they got to do a better way of eating, and hopefully, instead of taking any of the doctor's like wonky alternatives, hopefully they come and ask you, Sherry. That would be amazing. Big food and big pharma create food and medication prisoners, not freedom.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, if only people realized and paid attention to the money trail behind the scenes between those two, behind those two industries and what they cook up and try to
Absolutely.
fool us, the people. A lot of people, they don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. And, it kind of takes us having to be at our lowest of low and discovering, this community and the proper human diet and kind of just being in the constant know and learning the information to find out really truly what is going on behind the scenes. But it's a scary thing because unfortunately, all these new generations coming in, they're hooking them in. So they're just continuing to get stronger. Unfortunately, we're
Absolutely.
not at the point yet where we're stronger than them. Unfortunately, they still have so many new addicts that they're creating with all these new generations coming in. It's really sad. Susie's sharing, I feel like I have food freedom in a way. I can eat the most delicious natural food, meat, butter, and eggs, as much food as I like. I don't miss the other carby food that made me sick. And that's the thing. I mean, it's amazing because it's good for you. You don't feel deprived. As far as your meat, Sarah, what are your favorite meats that you like incorporating?
Um, I eat a lot of ground beef just because it fits our budget really well, but I enjoy ribeyes when we can do those,
Mhm.
and I love picanha. And my
Oh,
husband and
yes.
I typically do a standing date night once a month where we go to Texas State Brazil. And I will eat all the meats, all the flank steak, all that kind of stuff is
Mhm.
wonderful. But during my daily life, I pretty much just keep it really simple. Chicken wings are always good, so I will have those occasionally. But for the most part, it's
Yeah.
ground beef, bacon, and eggs.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it because it's keeping things so simple, but still yet everything's so delicious where we
Absolutely.
don't feel deprived at all. But then again, it's simplicity.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like were you like a really big cook when it came to like standard American diet? Did you spend a lot of time in the kitchen in
Oh yeah.
comparison to what you do now?
I was a professional baker and cake decorator, and I love cooking. I love baking. But I actually find that I enjoy just making just simple food now because it's just like, oh, it's I'm time to eat. Let's just whip this up.
Mhm.
And then I have so much other life. My life does not revolve around food anymore. Food is an important part of my life and it fuels my body so that I can go and do the other things. And I definitely still enjoy it. I consider myself a foodie, but it's just
Right.
nice just to eat and move on and with the rest of my life too. And it's just okay. It's not this huge, massive event anymore.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's the thing. It's like still incorporating those foods that we love. So it's kind of, yeah, we can be a foodie in a way, but like you said, not having food feel like it's controlling our life, like our life is revolving around that food.
Absolutely.
Here, Dustin sharing, isn't that conversation possibly helpful to those who might be curious? I
That
feel
was his question.
this was his question. I
Yes.
feel this was about the Ozempic conversation.
I hope this
Dustin,
is a
let us
conversation that's
know
helpful.
that we're right. Yes. Let
That's
us
why I
know
was
that we're
trying to
right.
get to that while we were still
Yeah.
talking. That's why I try to grab the questions and then go back to the rest of the chat because the questions pop up while we're talking
Yeah, but then
and then it gets
I'll get
confusing.
too lost with everybody else's, so it's kind of like go in order so nobody gets like left out of their comment being highlighted because I also appreciate everyone's time. It's Friday night. Everybody could be doing anything and everything with their time. So that's why I don't want to, overlook anybody. But yeah, absolutely because just like we had in the chat, there's those hearing, coworkers friends, like mentioning that they're wanting to take a chance at it. Um, and to hear your story, Sarah, definitely, I feel it's so important for some to try to be as transparent as they can, because
Absolutely.
definitely, your mentioning of your Ozempic experience, that's going to definitely resonate with somebody and is definitely going to be life-changing for them, and very well, might prevent them from going through the same scary side effect experiences that you went through.
That's why I've been so open about it, and anybody is welcome to reach out to me, and I would be glad to just sit down and talk with them and tell them my experiences
Yeah.
and encourage them as well in their journey.
Yeah. And I know Cindy, she's mentioned the same as well with her experience with weight loss surgery. If anybody, even in the chat, has any questions about that, Cindy has mentioned before that she's
Yeah,
more
I have
than
my
willing.
story on my on
Mhm.
my channel.
She's more than willing. So either go to her video and ask a question on there, but she's also shared as well. So I think that's so important, for those to be transparent, because there's always somebody that feels like they're at like a give up moment and they feel like they want to go the route of trying one of the medications out there or going the route of weight loss surgery. So, and then we also have to remember, not every side effect is going to happen to everybody. We all have our own unique bodies, but it's important to know the possibilities that your healthcare professional is not telling you.
Exactly.
Susie sharing, agree 100% with you, Sana. Leading by example is the way to go. Yeah, I mean, it tends to be more, I would say, helpful in a way, only because we kind of have to remember no matter what addiction it is, a lot of, the addictions have the commonality that it has to be the person, it has to be the addict that wants to change. Matt sharing here, Susie, she's the reason I am doing keto. She led by example. You see? So that right there is proof right there of how just being the example can
Plus, he
truly.
likes to eat, and I told him, I'm doing this. If you want to eat, I'll make food for you. If you want to eat your own thing, you're on your own.
That definitely helps.
Dustin replied, his question was about the lunch conversations at work.
Ah, yes. So when you were mentioning about when it came to the lunch conversations at Disney, um, yeah, and that's a shame too, because no one should have to feel like they're feeling shamed about what they're choosing to eat. Because like you mentioned, like on the flip side, when it comes to like the chips and all like the carby stuff, where was like the
Yeah.
judgment then?
Exactly. And well, Disney does a lot to support their cast members too. Like for doing a good job, they reward you. Well, they reward you with
Mm,
ice cream and Mickey bars, and or our leaders will reward us by doing a potluck. And I definitely miss out on those, which is fine. I don't miss it myself, but everybody's like, "Oh, aren't you going to go get this? Aren't you going to go get that?
mm,
Oh, did you
right,
get your
right.
free Mickey bar? No, I,
Oh
I,
my
I really
goodness.
don't want it." They also provide electrolytes for us, where oftentimes that they're full of sugar. So I'm just like, I have to bring my own. I have to be prepared. So those conversations for me do happen almost every day.
Oh, wow. And that's the thing. Hopefully, it can get to the point that you are leading by example, and one day they're going to eat their words and be like,
Absolutely.
yeah, we should have been a little more understanding. Coworker that's keto on and off again. She started texting her questions. I sent a sampling of different electrolytes. Oh, that's really
That's
good.
awesome.
So even, yeah, so like just like you mentioned, Sarah, that you were giving keto chow, that's also really important as well, because especially for like the newbies to this way of eating, definitely I don't think many of them are aware of the need for the electrolytes, especially because you're going from such like a standard American high carb diet and then kind of really have your body go through like very much of a cleanse way of eating. Electrolytes, yeah, definitely important. So that's going to be super, super helpful. So that's amazing of you both to be blessing them with some electrolytes. Because definitely a lot of the electrolytes out there are definitely not cheap.
No, they're not.
I was just telling my sisters the good things that were happening along the way. I did.
This is my sister, Sarah.
Yes,
That's
Deb
awesome.
Riley is Cindy's sister that she was speaking about that was texting her and trying to get her to transition to keto. Yeah, and here Cindy sharing, I am ever so grateful to Deb. Love you. That's amazing. Yeah. So Sherry's sharing here, so true about wanting everyone else to feel as good as we do. Yeah, because it's one of those things that you want it to be contagious. Um,
Absolutely.
but it's a difficult situation because not everyone's going to receive the information the same way. Some want to hear more. Some you start talking to them and they're like, oh, tell me more about this. Like, what exactly, what are you eating? They just want more information.
Mhm.
So Dustin's sharing here. I wonder if Oprah is thinking she's being helpful or if she's just in it for a bigger cash grab.
Oh yeah, here's a shot for you and a pill for you, and yeah,
The thing is,
sad is
she's
what it
dabbled in
is.
so much. So at this point, it's kind of hard to say if she's trying to go on a path of like self-discovery of what journey is working for her and just hoping at the financial same time she can advertise it to help others, so to speak. But it's so difficult. She's dabbled in everything,
Mhm.
everything and anything weight loss related. She's dabbled in it. Donna is sharing here. That's why we want to share with our family to help save their lives. Yeah, absolutely. Because then, the other side of that, the unfortunate side of it, is thinking of the ones that we weren't able to save.
Mhm.
It's like we want to, share with everybody and anybody, especially when you've had, family members or friends that they suffered from certain ailments and unfortunately they lost their life because of it. And then you come across somebody that has like such a similar story, and then you feel like you're making it your own personal mission to save them because you
Mhm.
couldn't save that close family member or friend.
Absolutely.
So it's hard. It's hard because a lot of times it's definitely a feeling where you could truly feel torn. Matt sharing here, I watched all that Sarah went through on Ozempic. It was heartbreaking to see the horrible side effects wreaking havoc on her body. And that's the thing, as a loved one, to see somebody have to go through that, especially, in the case of the doctor here was the one that was promoting it for a way for you to get healthy,
Mhm.
but then everything just continued to fall apart for you.
Absolutely.
That's difficult. And thank you, Matt. Sarah has videos on her channel about being on and off when you were on and getting off of Ozempic,
Mhm.
for anyone, because like Sarah mentioned, we're not healthcare professionals. So definitely, we cannot suggest for anyone to just cold turkey come off of it. But then again, if you're feeling like you yourself want to hear someone having to go through the side effects and taking that leap of getting off of it on their own, definitely, definitely check out Sarah's videos because then you'll be able to hear that perspective of what she found helpful for her.
Or even just using as a good conversation starter with your doctor if you want to come off
Absolutely.
with the assistance of your doctor. I wanted to do this with the assistance of my doctor. He just
Hmm.
refused.
And that's unfortunate because here you gave the opportunity, and then to
Mhm.
feel like you were just shut down about it, it's like, are you really trying to
Yep.
help me?
Yep.
Here I'm telling you I'm suffering, but then again, like the answer's still no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sad. Sabrina's sharing, I don't have ice cream, but I made a keto carrot cake today for my son's birthday dinner and on Sunday. Also having a meat lasagna that I prepped this morning. Oh, that sounds amazing. That sounds really, really good. And then the meat lasagna, what substitute did you use? Because there's definitely a lot of substitutes when it comes to the lasagna sheets. There's the deli meat option. There's the palmini lasagna sheets. There is the egg life wraps. So if you want to share what substitute you use, that way you can inspire others that are probably looking for good, healthy alternative recipes, like something like lasagna. Do you have like a go-to recipe, Sarah, that's your favorite?
I don't, mostly because my budget is super small
Hmm.
when it comes to food, and I like my nutrition to be a powerhouse. And I at the end of the day, after working outside all day, I don't want to cook.
Mm,
So I don't
yeah, I
have
can
a
hear that.
lot of
Yep.
recipes. I've wanted to try some of the keto lasagnas and stuff like that, but I just haven't taken the time. I'd rather bake a keto treat.
Yeah. The pudding, do you make a big batch of the pudding?
Yep.
Oh, so that's definitely helpful then.
Absolutely. And I just package it in mason jars and it's
Yeah.
ready to go. I prep it on Monday and I go to work on Wednesday and then I have to do it all over again on Monday. And I eat on repeat, which is boring, but it works really well for
Yeah.
me.
That's the thing, some might see it as boring because it's repetitive, but if it tastes good and if it works for you, why not?
Yep. If you've seen my what I eat in a week videos, there a lot of it's repeated,
Yeah.
Hmm.
but it might give
Yeah.
somebody new some ideas,
Some
and
ideas. Uh-huh.
that's
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. So very true. Do you have a video of you making your version of the pudding?
I follow the 2KK recipe that
Oh,
came
okay.
out that they did, that was
Uh-huh.
inspired by Maria Emick. So I just make that because why invent something new if that works?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do have videos where I have been in the kitchen. I experiment with baking things and making things, but not for pudding.
Very, very cool. Oh, so Sherry's asking, Sarah, did I see you in a 2KK video when they were at Disney?
Yep.
Yes, because it was a video as well as there was a picture that was posted in the 2KK group as well, the
Hmm.
Facebook group. So that was really cool to see because, those like connections. Because here, somewhere like Disney, so many, no matter where they live, can definitely vacation at Disney. So to know that
Absolutely.
they can go and be able to interact with you there. Are you able to share which specific park you're at?
Yeah, I work at Hollywood Studios. I am in the Star Wars area. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I work in Sabi's workshop mostly, and I help people create their lightsabers. So,
Oh, that's so cool. That's exciting. It's like every single day definitely could be a fun day working a job like that.
it
So
can
that's
be,
really
yes.
cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. So Donna is asking Sarah, did you say Equip brand protein powder? Thanks.
Yes. It's the Equip. It's Prime Protein, I think is what the actual name is,
Yeah.
but it's by Equip.
Yep. And you, Donna, you have the spelling correct right there.
Hmm.
So if you want to just go ahead and search like that, your spelling is on point. So you'll definitely be able to bring it up. But yeah, like Sarah mentioned, they do have the different flavors as well, which is nice because, if you're wanting to keep things unflavored or like simple, like a basic vanilla, they definitely have those options as well. And definitely check around. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because I believe Maria Emmerich, I know she does have a discount code for Quip protein powder. So definitely
Neely does also.
Nearly. There we go. Thank you for that, Cindy. So definitely, if you're gonna order, Donna, definitely take advantage. Do not ever, when it comes to anything, always check around to find out. Or even if we have any of these lives going, definitely ask because somebody definitely will know in the chat if there's a discount code anywhere out there. Don't ever pay full price for anything. There is always a discount code out there. So definitely take
That's
advantage
right.
of that.
Absolutely.
I
I
have
think
one for
Hope from
Keto
Mission.
Chow.
I think Hope from Mission Keto has one for the Equip protein.
For Quip,
Yeah,
that's
Hmm.
good to know as well.
I
No, thank
believe
you
so
for
too.
that. On Facebook, I saw one friend get denied weight loss surgery because the doctor didn't think she was big enough. For another friend, tell them to just go to Mexico and have it done anyway. That's what they did. And that's a scary thing too, because when you have complications with something,
Mhm.
and anyone that has ever gone to the hospital and dealt with any type of sickness, one of the questions they ask you, have you recently, or have you in the past 30 days or 90 days, have you been out the country? And you have to tell them you were in Mexico. You have to tell them you had this procedure done in Mexico. There's no way getting around that. Um, because they need those details to understand how serious what you're going through might really truly be. Because we're not trying to bash any country or anything like that, but sometimes, the affordable way and going out the country is not always the best, because there's different practices. There's different practices, different laws, country to country. So it's scary in the sense that when you come back and you have a problem, are you going to be able to find a doctor or a surgeon to want to be able to fix you?
I've
That's the
heard
scary
horror
thing.
stories of people going to Mexico to do that and then their insurance not covering any stuff that they've had when they get back because
You
now it's a
see,
pre-existing condition.
you see, that's the scary thing. Because you could have something very serious, that you're needing to treat when you come back, and like, what are you to do? Constantly having to travel to Mexico? Like, how are you going to travel if like what you're dealing with is you're sick? You're
Yeah.
going to travel sick. That's even worse. So yeah, that's scary. Well, Dustin, I can only hope that whoever she had that procedure through, that she doesn't have any problems, she doesn't have any complications. Because yeah, that could be definitely a scary situation. Debbie sharing here, sauna pregnancy nausea is horrible. Glad you haven't had it with this pregnancy. Me too. And the doctor's office, they're actually really shocked, because I had my 20-week appointment today, and they asked me, they were like, did morning sickness show its ugly face? And no. So I share with everybody, I don't want to be one of those people out there that says, oh yeah, proper human diet, it fixed it all. Like, I'm not having it because of that. All I can do is like share. I haven't gotten it. Try it for yourself. Like the berries say, do the N equals one experimenting. Check and see for yourself. I mean, if you're also having the same, no nausea, no morning sickness, hey, who knows? Maybe my proof, your proof, maybe it could be proven.
Absolutely.
Here, Matt sharing, I wish our younger daughter would eat this way. She still eats the standard American diet. Yeah, hopefully between the both of you, hopefully you could lead by example. And then also, Cindy and I, we both have shared, we've gone to like events and stuff where we've brought stuff that was proper human diet. Like we've literally made it from home and took it, whether it be like a holiday, event or whatever it may be.
I
And
have good examples of that. Real
yeah,
recent, our bowling parties. The
oh,
bowling alley
you see,
supplies pizza, and I'm not going to pull toppings off pizza and waste the crust. So
right,
I made
right.
my own chaffles and made pizza toppings on them and took that.
Yeah.
And then this past Tuesday, it was the same scenario, but I just bypassed the pizza. I ate a little
Yeah.
something before I left, and every team had to bring a dessert. So I told the girls that I was bowling with, I said, I will bring a dessert.
Mm,
And I made Keto Chow's recipe for cookies and cream brownies. And
Yum.
you see.
yeah, yum. They, they were really good. So yeah, so that way I knew I have something of that
Right.
to eat because all of the other 7 teams were going to bring something that was sugary.
With sugar, yeah.
So it was like, okay, I will bring something.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
all tried it and they
Mm-hmm.
said, this is really good. And they're not
Yeah.
the ones on my team. I don't know if anybody else did or not, but I know we brought a lot home.
And those are great points,
Yeah,
like
always.
preparing for yourself,
Mhm.
but then also sharing with others because a lot of times they're shocked. They're like, "What? Like this is like healthy?" Because they're just stunned because it just tastes so darn good that they're
Yep,
like, "There's no way this is healthy." So I think those become helpful moments too. Like if you guys
Absolutely.
have like holidays coming up, make like a good amount of dishes that would be proper
Absolutely.
human diet. And I bet you to her, she's not going to even know because it's real food. That's the
Yeah.
thing. And I think that's
We
what a lot of people have to realize. It's real food that we're
yeah.
consuming.
She has reduced her sugar in her intake as far as beverages go. She
Mm.
almost always drinks, like, if she's gonna have a Coke, it'll be Coke Zero now. Or if she's
Okay,
gonna
okay.
have like a Red Bull, she drinks the sugar free. So, and she loves Element, so she's
Uh-huh.
drinking those in the summer and stuff like that. So she's made some
Mm.
shifts, but
Yeah,
she'll be 23 next week. So there's not much I can do other than lead by
right, right.
example.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's
Sarah,
huge.
my boys are in their 40s, so they're finally figuring it out.
And that's huge. Even like starting with those little transitions, because
Mhm.
even though we can call them little, they're still huge in comparison to what we were doing before. And that's the thing, sometimes, some of us, we do need to take those baby steps. We can't have everybody consider like the same, like everybody cold turkey, coming into this. Sometimes people, they need to take those baby steps. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
when it comes to like carnivore, unfortunately, we have a lot of ones out there that are perfectionist. They're like the carnivore perfectionist. And if, they see somebody that is still incorporating just a little bit of like veg or something with their meat heavy, unfortunately, they're being put down for it.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, no, if that's what's going to get them to the point where if they do themselves, if they want to full blown be completely carnivore one day, if they're just having to do that little bit of transition that they're wanting or needing to do, so be it.
Absolutely. It's all good.
Everyone needs to do what best works for them. That's the thing.
Yep.
And here we have Donna in full on support of ground beef, bacon, and eggs. Yum. Absolutely. Here we have Dustin coming up. My question was about the lunch conversations at work. Okay, so that we
And Debbie
covered.
said no
Perfect.
need because she already answered that one. She messaged me. So you can bypass that one.
Oh,
She
for this
already
one
answered
here,
it. Yeah.
Sabrina sharing, I'm trying to eat, hustle some while I clean the house for Sunday. My sons are both doing keto now, so anytime I can help out with a keto meal helps them too.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
has since
Awesome.
left.
that's huge right there to be able to have, especially when it comes to the kids, because we have two kids ourselves that are on keto for over 5 years now, and it wasn't always easy. I could definitely say that. Nancy sharing here, Matt is such a trooper and Sarah is an awesome cook. Yes, she definitely sounds like it because especially if Matt is definitely on board as long as she cooks. I think that definitely attests to her being an amazing cook. Donna sharing, yeah, my healthcare professionals never tell me about the possible side effects of medication. I am dealing with that right now with a new med.
Oh, Donna, they don't tell
Wow.
you either. I was given when I first got sick with some one of the infections. My doctor gave me cyclobenzaprine, and I took one
Mm,
dose of it, and within hours I was having heart palpitations every minute for like
mm.
hours. They would not stop. I didn't
Oh
take
my
another one.
goodness.
I called the next morning. I said, I'm not taking this at
Wow.
all. It's a muscle relaxer. I said, I'm not taking it. Wasn't for an infection. And I said, no. I said, and so when I saw her the other day, I brought that up to her again, and she said, "Oh, that was so crazy." But when I looked it
Oh
up,
my
that was one of the
goodness.
severe side effects. Call your doctor right away. It was 9 o'clock at night. I'm
Oh
not
my
calling the
gosh.
doctor's office then.
Yeah. 9 a night.
I
Wow.
waited it out, and it lasted for hours. where it would, my
Mhm.
heart was just racing, and then it would slow down, and it would start racing, and it would slow down. That went on, honest to God, for about 6 hours
Wow.
So
for one
scary.
pill.
Oh my
One
gosh.
pill.
Oh,
That was horrible. So yeah, they don't tell you. You really have to be your own advocate and
yeah.
research, because that's the only way. The only way you're going to know. It was crazy.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. Wow. And here Sabrina's sharing about the meat lasagna. She does use the deli meat, the chicken slices of deli meat for her
I'll tell you
substitute for noodles.
the best keto lasagna I made had cheese for noodles, and you could not tell they weren't noodles.
You
It
say?
was the best recipe. Oh my word.
I'll
Yeah,
have to
we
try
use
it
it
when I'm eating
for
cheese again.
yes, definitely. Because with like Cindy's saying with the lasagna and then also doing raviolis. That is like a huge hit with our kids as well, is a ravioli because of course you can put tons of ground beef and just kind of have, just a layer melt on top of the other and that definitely so delicious and yet so simple still. Definitely don't have to spend hours in the kitchen for it either. There's a lot of chat between each other.
Yeah.
Here's Sherry. Good night, everyone. Sarah, thanks for sharing your story with us tonight. Thanks, Cindy and Sana, too. Thank you so much, Sherry, for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank
And
you.
Debbie sharing here. Wow, Cindy, so sorry that happened to you. Heart palpitations feel horrible
Yeah, they do.
for 6 hours.
It was crazy. It was
That's
absolutely
the
crazy.
thing. Not only feeling horrible with it, but for 6 hours. I mean, what?
I went in to go
Oh
to
my
bed
gosh.
early, hoping to sleep it off. And I couldn't. I could not, because it wouldn't let up. It was just
Mm.
nuts. And this is thank
Here, Deb sharing. Yeah, because we're caught up now, Cindy. I
you.
absolutely
Yeah,
hate
she
meds.
has
I just don't take any. I'm very fortunate. Oh, absolutely. Oh
she
my
she
goodness.
has not had any prescription meds other than when she had COVID. And I believe
Mm.
that's the only time, right, Debbie?
Yeah, I'm very much the same, Deb. For me, and honestly, like probably like my body is subconsciously feeling like I hate medications because when I did have to take like just something for like pain relief or something like that, I would get horrible stomach aches. Like it would really upset my stomach, even to take something as simple as like Tylenol back in the day. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I've always stayed away. Donna sharing, yeah, I always ask the pharmacist about possible side effects before I start taking something. The doctors and nurses never tell me, even when I ask. Yeah, I definitely agree. A lot of the pharmacists, because I
They don't want
was
us
a
to know,
no, and
because they don't want you to tell them, no, I don't want that medicine,
yeah,
because most of the time
yeah,
they're getting paid to prescribe that medication. And that is
Absolutely.
so
hmm
messed up.
yeah,
It's like, that's like the cardiologist trying to get me to take a statin after their office
hmm
listed it that I was allergic to them.
you're allergic.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, did you not read my chart?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
I
what a
was for three
wacky.
years, I was a pharmacy tech.
Hmm?
You cannot imagine how many times we had to let the pharmacist know, um, yeah, you need to call this doctor's office because they prescribed this medication to this patient. And when I tell you, you have, certain medications that they can't be taken with one another because, some can either lessen the effect of another drug, but guess what? Some it is a deadly combination.
Yeah.
And I
I
cannot tell you how many times we've had deadly combinations being prescribed, and we had to be the ones to be the lifesaver.
Yeah, I have a niece that is a pharmacist up in Northern Ohio. And I don't hear any stories one way or another. You know, we don't go there. But she's very intelligent person.
Mm.
So I have to say she would not overlook anything that would be
Oh yeah.
detrimental to somebody. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some that are. They just don't look. They just feel it and go and just keep
Yeah.
moving.
And you think about it
It's
too
just
because
nuts.
you're we have the same records like the doctor's office. That's where our records originated from because of the prescriptions they
Mhm.
wrote, that they e-faxed in, that they called in. And unfortunately, you have a lot of doctor's office where sometimes it's just a receptionist. It's not even like a nurse or anybody calling it in. So a lot of times you don't even have like that educated nurse that might have been able to catch it because a lot of times the nurses, they're more so front of line of what's going on because the doctor things are hectic. They get busy. They're trying to speed things up for the next patient, to come in and all of that. So yeah, it's definitely scary, but I agree with you, Donna. Sometimes just that conversation with the pharmacist, being able to kind of have like that consult one-on-one with them, definitely, definitely could be very
Absolutely.
helpful, especially if you've already had medications on file with that pharmacy. It definitely is really, really helpful.
Yep. And Debbie said yes. That's the only time she's been on any prescribed medication is when she had COVID.
Yes.
She was in a hospital on oxygen for six
Mm.
days.
Oh my
She had it
goodness.
really
Wow.
bad. Um, Now, Sarah, when we were backstage, you were knitting something. What are you working
Yeah.
on?
And I was knitting on a sweater.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've made some
I'm
really interesting things that I have seen on your channel. They're really pretty. And your
oh, thank you.
teapots and your teacups and
Yes.
are just
Beautiful. Beautiful.
phenomenal. She has a
Thank you.
collection of teacups and saucers and teapots, and they're beautiful.
I
Yes.
love them. It's definitely part of my relaxation and my ritual to sit down and just it helps me put my day in perspective and to slow down.
Mhm.
So and then when you put it in a pretty cup, it just makes you happy. So I have my tea in the morning when
Yeah.
I'm off or in the evening, or sometimes I just want to invite somebody over and it's like, well, let's have tea and I'll make this stuff and it's a conversation starter. It's a way just to be present and mindful, and so that's what it is for me, and to have my
Mhm.
collection and be able to use it is just such a blessing to me and to some of my friends as well.
And that has to be where your tea party meetups got the name tea parties.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah, and I love because you have shared them in like the Facebook groups and stuff, your tea set.
Mhm.
And oh my
They're
goodness,
gorgeous.
beautiful. Like they're so unique as well. That like just kind of like elevates like the beauty of them because they're so unique.
Absolutely.
I would have to have a display just to put them on. And I'd be afraid to use them because they're going to chip, they're
They're
going to crack.
beautiful, yes. Only
I have
because they're
two
so
displays,
unique.
so yeah. They have definitely taken over the living room. They're in two different cabinets at this point, and I love them and the opportunity to use them. I am very careful with them, of course.
I bet.
And then this year, my husband bought me actual nice china for our kitchen, and that's been really helpful in my journey as well because I can put it on a pretty plate. And on days where I'm tired,
Yeah.
well, I that pretty plate can't go in the dishwasher. So it helps me
Right.
to enjoy
Yes.
my food and I get to have that visually pleasing thing. But then I have to
Mhm.
actually get up and go wash that plate because it can't go in the dishwasher. So I get stuff done when I'd rather just be like, no, I'm not going to do that. Those can stay till morning.
Yep.
Well, thankfully you don't have any young kids because I think that's where things get where
Oh,
you're
but she
just
does. She's got a young puppy.
I
a
do.
young
It's
puppy.
even more work than a little kid sometimes.
Yes,
I
yes, he
I I
does.
I beg to differ with the 7-year-old over here.
Well, did your 7-year-old get into your bonsai yesterday and like destroy most of them?
Uh,
My puppy did yesterday.
he chose to have me tell him several times not to jump in the
Oh,
bed. Because when it comes
yes.
to boys, of course, they wanna make the house a full-on trampoline park as well. they don't understand no matter how many times you tell them you are going to break something, even
Yeah.
if they fix it, it will never feel the same again.
Girls
My
are
my
girls
my
are very
younger
similar.
son, I raised two boys also, and my younger son decided he was going to jump on my bed when he was very young, and he fell and he hit the corner of a end table. Two front teeth
Mm.
Mm.
flew out of his mouth.
Oh
He hit hard. I'm
my
like, I told you.
gosh. Oh my
My
goodness.
I
my
told
oldest did
you.
that, and she was
Ouch.
climbing on something, and I said, "You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt yourself." She hit the back of her head, hit an
Mm.
artery in the back of her head, and there was blood everywhere.
Oh
And of
Oh
course, my
yeah.
husband was
no.
deployed, and I was like, "I
Oh
told you you were gonna get
no.
hurt."
They
Oh
don't
my
listen.
goodness.
They don't listen.
So when you say deployed, you were a service family.
Yes, my husband was in the Navy for 20 years.
So thank you so
Nice.
much to you and your family for your service. I definitely want to be able to acknowledge that.
Thank you.
Debbie
Deb's
agrees with
agreeing
the calming
here.
of knitting and
Yeah.
crocheting.
I wish I had the time to learn because my grandmother as well as my mother, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, were the two of them like blessed with hands that can like just like you backstage, you were speedy with it. My grandmother, she didn't even have to look at what she was doing. Like that's really to the point that she was like at because
Well, that's
even
what
like
amazed me about Sarah. She wasn't
yeah,
looking at anything.
she
She
wasn't
was
looking.
watching us and
Yeah.
just, I'm like,
It
I
brought
can't
back a
knit.
lot of memories for
Debbie
me.
taught me
Yeah.
how to crochet, but I can't knit. It's like, that's too
Mm,
much coordination needed. No, I'm good.
yeah. Because when I tell you my grandmother, when her and my grandfather, when they first came to the US from Turkey, they came to New York, to the Bronx. And she had worked for a huge knitting factory where you had the big, the big knitting machines. And her company, they actually had a little competition of who was the quickest and who was basically not only the quickest, but for the speed, who was pushing out good quality.
Mhm.
And it ended up being her, and she actually won this beautiful, it was like this beautiful, like antique style Singer
Oh,
sewing
wow.
machine, and it was the ones that had like the built-in type of table and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the family from like my uncle's side, unfortunately, in her passing, they did not take care of it and it got destroyed because
Oh.
I would have loved to have it because it had beautiful like hand painting all over the machine itself, all over the actual like built-in table and everything. But when I tell you like she was I always told her like her heart and her hands were like the value of gold because she could sew, crochet, knit, cook, like everything and anything she could do with those hands. But I do have a huge I'll have to one day when I get over like emotions to be able to open it up because it's still stitched up in like a bundle that she put it in, but it is a huge king size blanket that she had knitted. And she did like two different colors. She did like a white and a pink, and then she sewed pillows with like knitted pillowcases, kind of to be like round pillowcases as well as your regular standard. So she did like a full on set. And when I tell you she did it all, a king size with pillows and all, on a 2-week vacation,
Wow.
visiting from New Jersey to Florida. So when I tell you
Wow.
she had speed, she had speed.
That's awesome.
And Deb sharing here, I am very blessed with great health. Yeah, we're all, I mean, thankfully we can all say that. I mean, we definitely have to have that perspective of remembering,
Oh, that's
what
what we're all
was.
heading towards. That's what we're all heading towards. If we're not already there, that's what we're heading towards is great
Yeah,
health.
it's continuing. It's
Awesome.
continuing healing. That's the thing. It's not ever going to always be perfect. It can
No.
always be great health. It will never probably ever feel perfection, but then again, the constant progress of healing can definitely have you every single day feeling in absolute great health.
Absolutely.
Oh, so here Donna's asking, oh, I love to see your crocheting. Do you have any plans on probably sharing on your channel
I
that
do.
side?
I have a segment that I usually do on Tuesdays that's called Tea
Very
Tuesday.
cool.
So for that, I sit down, I make tea. I usually make some sort of snack or meal and
Yeah.
share how to do that. And then I sit down and I just could tell what's going on in my life. And my knitting, my weaving, my spinning, my all my craft stuff kind of
Mm,
ends up in there. It doesn't take over,
yeah.
but I do show what I'm working on and talk about it a little bit because, of course, my channel is about my journey,
Right.
and health right now is the hugest part of that. But the other part of it is my
Hmm.
crafting and my creative outlets that keep me mentally, physically happy as well.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
part of
that's a
your emotional
beautiful,
health.
yeah,
Yes,
it's a
yeah,
Absolutely.
beautiful balance because here, you're sharing the health component of it all, but then again, something like the crocheting, for example, like Cindy said, it's very much, that calming, that emotional, and then very much so, something like that could definitely benefit mental health.
it does. And
And I
I'm a
love
psych
that.
major, so I have my degree is in psychology. So I'm a big
Okay.
proponent of mental health as well.
Hmm. Yeah, and I love that. I love when, because like Chris Cooking Nashville shares like the whole music side of things. I love just seeing the other side, aside from like,
Absolutely.
oh, I'm on, keto or I'm on carnivore, but hey, I also do this.
Hmm.
I love that because then it's, it's really, truly, really connecting really with somebody
Absolutely.
in the community because it's not just all about just the food. You're really truly learning about the other person and like their personality and what brings them joy.
Absolutely.
Here, Donna sharing, I crochet but don't know how to knit. Good point, Cindy. Lots of coordination needed.
Excuse me.
Absolutely. That sharing this way of eating is not only about physical health, but also emotional and psychological health as well. That's the thing, the mental part of it. Because, like we shared earlier, those that might start, they might give up because initially they might not see quick results, like the mentality, that a lot of the fad diets gave us that impression like there was going to be quick fixes to be had. But a lot of, when it comes to proper human diet, not everybody is fortunate to have those big, quick victories in the beginning. And you definitely have to have your mental health in a certain state to not give up on yourself, to trust in the
Absolutely.
process. So that is such a huge point when it comes to the mental health perspective of this. Here we have JJ joining in. Hey, all. Welcome, welcome. Hope you've had a great week. Happy Friday. Deb is sharing. I'm subscribing to Sarah as a fellow handicrafty person.
I'm going to
Well,
tell
Awesome,
thank you,
you,
Deb.
awesome.
Debbie can do anything. And I do mean anything. Crafty. She can paint. She knits.
Wow.
She crochets. She has a business in alterations and sewing.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know. She can do it all. She's so talented and just it's amazing.
She sounds amazing. My kind of
She is.
person.
She is. I could be a little biased, but she is.
You have every right, Cindy. JJ sharing, so true. I used to be extremely OCD about things like glitter, and it's nowhere as bad as it used to be. Didn't even realize it until I got some on at work. Well, we have definitely been going at this for a little over an hour and a half. So we definitely want to respect your time, Sarah, especially, Friday night. We definitely don't want to take up too much time of your personal time because that's what being on the proper human diet is all about, having that balance of sharing
Absolutely.
our message with everybody, but then equally being able to have that time to ourselves and to our family because obviously we have ourselves feeling the very best which is not always being behind these screens. We definitely have to live our very best life off of the screens as well. So, if you just want to kind of have a little bit of a send off for us, maybe you want to share possibly like some words of wisdom, or if you just want to share what is kind of your plans for the upcoming future.
My plans for the upcoming future are just to keep on the proper human diet in any form that I can. And I just want to encourage people that it's not an easy journey, but it is a journey that is absolutely worth
Mm,
it. And it's not just about the weight loss, it's about the whole body experience and the whole mind experience that this way of eating can transform your life. And just keep being consistent and show up for
mhm.
yourself because you are absolutely 100% worth it.
Such great words. Yes. And that's the thing. Exactly. Like I'm so happy that you mentioned that because those are the keywords right there for everyone to realize you are absolutely worth it. Even when you feel like everything's not going right, stick to it. Don't give up
Yep,
on yourself because you
That's
are
right.
worth it. So beautifully said, Sarah. Well, we both wholeheartedly thank you because you have such an amazing journey that you have shared, and we're so excited for you for everything to come in the future. And thank you so much for being
yep.
so transparent because you have mentioned so much in your transparency that is just going to be able to be so helpful to some that are wondering, especially like the topic of Ozempic, because that could definitely be an absolutely scary situation. Um, but thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for always coming every Friday and supporting Cindy and I. We wholeheartedly appreciate you all because I said earlier, you all could be doing anything with your Friday night. So the fact that you spend any bit of little time with us, we definitely appreciate you all. Cindy, did you want to
The
leave
next,
any final words?
I just want to say the next couple weeks upcoming, and thank you so much, Sarah. It's been so
Thank
great getting
you.
to know you more. The next week, we have Kim Howerton. Week after that, we have Limitless Lindy.
Yeah.
And the week after that is Chris and Miriam from Keto Chow. So the next few weeks, in between there, May 1st, and we had to reschedule it, unfortunately, from this past
Yeah.
Wednesday, May 1st, we have Dr. Ovadia joining us, who is a heart surgeon. If you have any questions for a heart surgeon, that's the time to have him ready.
Mhm.
He's going to be with us Wednesday, May 1st at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And boy, do I have questions for this man.
So that is a
I have a
rescheduled
ton.
date. So for
Yeah.
anyone that was looking forward to it this past Wednesday and did not see it, that is the reason being why.
Oh, I
Because
put
you
a
can
community
only,
post out. I put
yes,
post out on Facebook. I did to let anybody know. But
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, because we can only
that's going
imagine
to
the
be
schedule
amazing
of a
because
heart
I've
surgeon.
heard him speak before. Yeah, and
Yes.
with what I have going on with my scores and stuff, I have
Mhm.
questions written down. I have a question from one of my subscribers who wanted me to ask him a question for
Mhm.
her. So absolutely, because that's going to be incredible. And of course,
Definitely
Chris and
looking forward
Miriam
to it.
are the best too.
Yes.
One question for you, Sarah. Are you and Matt coming to KPL?
Not this year, unfortunately. Yeah, we're trying to save to buy a house and get out of this apartment.
Okay.
Oh, such an amazing goal.
Priorities are important.
They
Yes.
are.
Yes. All right. That's it for me.
All right.
And
So with
thank everybody for coming and
yes.
joining us that's still
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah, we definitely sometimes do a southern goodbye, which is okay. Because when you're in good company, it's definitely easy to go overtime.
It
Yeah.
is. Thank you so much both for having me. It's been wonderful to get to know you guys better as well. And I thank you for the opportunity to share my story and my journey. And hopefully that will help influence and bless other people.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Our absolute pleasure. Anyone that wants to share their journey, we are all the more for it because it's all about that inspiration and that one person it's going to resonate with.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Well, everyone have a wonderful blessed weekend, and we will see you all come next Friday.
Yes.
Take
Have a
care,
good night.
everybody.